The little rabbit monster was happy the golem came to save her that day. They both risked their lives but saved many monsters. She asked him if he felt the same, emphasizing that the life they shared meant a lot to her. Perhaps it was what she was born for. The golem told her it meant a lot to him as well, acknowledging he couldn't have saved the monsters without her. He looked forward to working with her, and she reciprocated the sentiment. She asked if they should discuss names, suddenly feeling shy. He reassured her there was nothing to be embarrassed about and decided to find a name for her. She asked what he thought of the name she would give him, a name that painted the world with his colors. She was about to reveal it when Tinia splashed ice on him. He immediately told the little rabbit monster to get into battle position, recognizing Tinia's attack. Tinia smirked, apologizing for eavesdropping, and questioned if they truly rescued stray monsters. Something she'd never seen ego monsters do. The golem asked who she was. Tinia declared herself a human, his natural enemy, and immediately activated her wave of ice skill, surrounding them both in ice. The golem smashed the ice, while the little rabbit also readied her weapon, glaring at Tinia and rushing forward. Tinia warned them there was a fine line between bravery and recklessness. She slashed the little rabbit monster, who fell to the ground. The little rabbit activated her bunny step skill, telling Tinia to be ready. Tinia complimented her timing but reminded her that not everything always went their way. She was about to strike the little rabbit, who knew she couldn't dodge in midair. She realized this human was different from those she'd fought before, wondering if this was the end. As the attack was about to hit, the golem stepped in, saving her. With a sudden booming noise, he created a shield for the little rabbit monster. He told her they might not make it this time, expressing sorrow, and said it was time to say goodbye. He asked the little rabbit monster to promise him she would live. He activated an ego skill, and the little rabbit monster was trapped inside. Confused, she questioned what he was doing, telling him to stop messing around, believing they could win together against Tinia. The wall closed, trapping her inside. Tinia and the golem were left outside, about to fight. Tinia asked the golem why he locked up the rabbit instead of her. He explained that his skill was a strong defense but easy to break, so Tinia would have escaped quickly. Tinia smirked, as if she had never heard of an ego skill, finding him something worth studying. She told him he was right about not making it this time. He said goodbye to the little rabbit monster. A sudden bang occurred. The little rabbit monster started crying. The little rabbit monster started crying. It wasn't until light flooded in from the cracks in the rock that she knew morning had come. The next day, sparrows chirped, and light filtered in. Her hand was bleeding. She realized she never got to tell him her name. The shield cracked, and the injured little rabbit emerged. She followed what looked like the rocks he left behind, finding the last one not far away. She picked up the precious stone, seeing the blood around her. Tinia had cut him into pieces. She cried abruptly, sorry that she couldn't protect him. The death of a nameless golem happened on a tranquil morning. She made up her mind to do 3 things. First, she would never save a monster again. Second, she would not try to change anything. And third, she would survive. She returned to the place, and a man emerged from a camp. Jack, the information broker, asked her, if it's not our regular Miss Bunny Rabbit, what do you have to offer this time? She carried a bag, telling him these were challenging items for humans to get, even rarer than her last offerings. Jack, who sold information about humans to ego monsters so they could hide in peace, asked what she expected him to do with them. She yelled that they were valuable items. Jack retorted that these junk items weren't worth a few thousand gold, stating he made real profit from other ego monsters, not her. He added that ego monsters sold for a great price, at least 10 million gold per head. She sighed, turning away, saying she was calling it off. Jack wondered who was saying this. She gritted her teeth, regretting trusting humans. Jack told her not to worry, that the place she was going to was full of useless monsters like her, and her master was friendly. Guys from his party rushed toward the little rabbit monster. One put his hand on her shoulder. And she sighed. They held her, put her on their shoulder, and left. Jack told them to make sure they paid up, feeling bad for the little rabbit monster, but believing she should have known they lived in two different worlds. The scene shifted to the little rabbit, who sensed a strong chemical smell, wondering where she was. She was captured in chains, unable to break free. She heard someone approaching. Tinia appeared, smiling devilishly, asking the little rabbit monster if they knew each other. The little rabbit monster gritted her teeth. Tinia revealed that Miss Cynthia gave up the battle after fighting Ignis, but she wouldn't. She informed the little rabbit monster that this was her secret lab, unknown to Miss Cynthia. She couldn't abandon her plans just yet for Miss Cynthia, considering her a savior. The leaders were providing her with the necessary technology, no strings attached, implying their secret agreement. She decided to show something cool. She placed her hand on a screen, which started beeping. A wall rumbled, and a door opened, revealing many glass jars. Tinia said most were empty, only half the number from the castle, but with this technology, they could restart anytime. She told the little rabbit monster she had met some of these monsters already. The little rabbit monster saw the golem in one of the jars. The golem questioned her about giving up on rescuing ego monsters. The little rabbit shouted that it wasn't what he thought. The golem called her a coward, regretting saving her. Tinia realized the little rabbit monster was hallucinating due to trauma. The little rabbit monster cried, apologizing to him. Tinia approached her, saying not to worry because she would die soon. Her hopes for change had turned into something horrible. If she hadn't taken his hand that day, he wouldn't have died. She thought it was all her fault and cried. As tears streamed down her face, she looked at him with sad, teary eyes. Tinia felt that utter despair did not bring out a new ego. She found it disappointing but didn't care. They had invested an enormous amount in this project. Miss Cynthia gave up, but stopping now would be a greater loss. Realizing they couldn't stop, she held a blade. The little rabbit monster thought she deserved to die, having turned her back on other monsters for herself. She felt she didn't deserve to live and should never have survived. Tinia informed her she would soon be unconscious and used according to the plan. She told her to look bright, as she wouldn't suffer anymore, and said goodbye. Just as Tinia was about to kill her, an eruption occurred. Ignis stepped in, asking the rabbit monster if she thought it was too early to give up. Tinia saw Ignis with Mandemic and Olivia. Ignis noted Tinia was up to her old tricks again, hoping she was prepared to die. Tinia realized she was meeting Ignis again. Ignis had a long-held ability, rarely seen, but she definitely felt it. Ignis sensed a flame nearby. Mandemic asked Ignis what she meant by the flame. Olivia asked the same. Ignis told them a sea monster was nearby and she could sense many egos about to fade, and one devastated ego. Olivia told Ignis they must save those ego monsters. And Ignis agreed. This was how they found the place to save those ego monsters. Tinia saw them. After all they had been through, they finally reached here. She was curious how they found this place but deemed it irrelevant now. Olivia gritted her teeth. Seeing the same story repeating, irreversible things happening one after another. Olivia yelled at Tinia, demanding to know why she would do such a thing. Tinia saw Olivia again, asking if she remembered the answer she gave last time. When asked the same question, she stated they would never understand each other. Ignis told her she would have to make her understand if she couldn't. Tinia asked Ignis what made her think everything would work out for her. Unlike Miss Cynthia, she wasn't afraid to play dirty. She was determined that their project must be completed. She went near the monster control stone. Ignis wondered if that was the monster control stone Cynthia had mentioned. Tinia clicked on the screen. The monster control stone started beeping. Ignis decided to shred it to pieces. She moved her hand forward toward the monster control stone. Tinia told Ignis she would never do that if she were her. Ignis had no idea what this thing was, feeling she shouldn't get any closer. She started losing consciousness. The scene shifted to a snowy place where Ignis saw a red long-haired girl. Ignis wondered who that girl was and why she felt immeasurable sadness. The red long-haired girl told Ignis she had the ability to feel the flame, asking if she was correct. Olivia didn't know, but Ignis could sense it right away. She knew Frel was an ego monster, even though he tried to hide it. Ignis asked the long-haired girl who she was, and if she was someone important to her. She apologized, saying she couldn't tell her, but clarified Ignis would find out when the right time came. She told Ignis to remember 3 things. First, to fulfill her duty as the protector to protect her family and always watch for it. She remembered the terrifying sensation she felt that day. She moved her hand across Ignis' face, sensing how much she had grown. Ignis suddenly regained consciousness, returning to the present. She put her hand on her face, wondering what she had just experienced. Olivia looked at Ignis, asking if she was okay. Mandemic raged at Tinia, asking how she dared to do that. He realized Ignis was right all along about the skill that only worked with monsters. He started stepping toward Tinia, who became scared. She asked him who he was, and Mandemic asked Tinia if Cynthia never told her about him. He thought it was time for her to learn about him. They stood near Tinia. Mandemic asked her how she dared to do something like this in this world. Tinia saw that he was a player who roamed with ego monsters. She thought it would suit someone like him. So she tapped on her screen, which started beeping. Some glass jars opened, and monsters started stepping out. Tinia told Mandemic that he got along pretty well with monsters in this world, asking if she was correct. She informed Mandemic that she had a trigger to kill these ego monsters in the blink of an eye and wasn't afraid to use it if he came any closer. She told him to get out of her face before she pressed the button. The time it took for her to cast her skills versus pressing the button was obviously faster for the latter. He had to protect the world. If ego monsters were a part of it, he couldn't let them die and disappear into nothing. The rabbit monster couldn't believe it, wondering if they were still alive. The little rabbit monster saw the golem and asked him if he still remembered her. The golem stared at her but didn't answer. Tinia told the rabbit monster that the golem didn't remember her at all, clarifying it was pointless because he was no longer the monster she knew. She told her he had become fiercer. And the golem continued to look at her with anger. He approached the little rabbit monster, grabbed her neck, and squeezed it. Her eyes became teary. She asked him what he was doing and if he didn't remember her. Ignis and Olivia were disabled due to system limitations. Mandemic couldn't act because the ego monsters were held hostage. At this point, Tinia seemed like an impregnable fortress to them. The little rabbit started losing her senses, wondering what she was doing and why. She questioned why she was only given these unbearable emotions and what she was supposed to do. She wondered if this wasn't enough, especially if it wouldn't change how it ended. She started saying sorry, knowing she wasn't strong enough. She said goodbye as she started losing consciousness. Ignis yelled at her, telling her not to give up. She told her that if she gave up, everything would end. She asked the little rabbit monster if she was sure she was okay with that. Her heart was burning, and her heartbeat rang in her ears, like remembering something she had forgotten for a long time. The golem told her that the golem attacking her wasn't him. Sadly, he no longer existed in her world, but he had come to tell her something. He told her she didn't need to feel guilty for not rescuing monsters. He told her she could do whatever she wanted, but he requested her to try to keep her promise, the one where they swore to stay alive. She started gaining her first ever ego, which was Hope. Hope was Paoko Kai's first ego. Tinia clenched her teeth, seeing she had found her ego just now. Mandemic thanked the little rabbit monster. Meanwhile, Tinia activated her skill, 10th Shield of Space Prison. She gritted her teeth, seeing time stopped around her arm. She muttered that first he spoke about Miss Cynthia, and next they used such a powerful skill on her. She thought for a moment and called him a monster. She sprinted toward the little rabbit monster and activated her skilled bunny triple step to hit her. Her eyes shone bright with rage. The golem told her it was okay if countless hardships were thrown her way. He smiled, telling her he knew she would be able to overcome them. Tinia decided not to give up. She saw those ego monsters would be played with and abandoned in the end. She thought ego monsters like them were good anyway, like lab rats behind glass. The little rabbit monster was happy to see that she did it. Ignis kept looking at her. The little rabbit monster was satisfied, having done it. She wondered what she was going to do with all these monsters. This feeling she had felt this way before. Their flames had been damaged beyond repair. There was nothing they could do for them. They were in excruciating pain. She thought she must set them free. And Ignis said they should let them be. That was the only thing they could do for them at this point. She did have a feeling that she might be too late already. Then she would free them with her own hands at least. The little rabbit monster saw the golem and told him she saw him there. She told him she saw him, and she remembered standing there in a place that seemed like an endless ocean. She told him she didn't know where that place was, but he didn't seem to be in pain. This meant he wouldn't have to suffer anymore. She asked him if she was correct. She told him sorry, but that he would have to wait a while for her to get there. She requested him to come greet her when she did. She told him he was still alive in her, and he told her to stay alive. So that was what she would do, and she would never give up again. The little rabbit monster started laughing. She once thought the monsters didn't stand a chance. So, to fool herself, she made up excuses about why she had to die, believing she was too small and weak to make a change. She even went so far as to hate Ignis for letting them ego monsters be known, believing that she was the reason humans started hunting them in the first place. But now she saw she was the one who would fight for them until the end. Perhaps she could actually be the one who would change this world for the better. He was standing in front of the little rabbit monster, who was constantly crying. The golem grinned at the little rabbit monster. The little rabbit monster smiled faintly at the golem. She decided not to say goodbye. Instead, she decided to tell him that she would see him later. The scene changed, and they all got out of Tinia's basement. Mandemic questioned who would have thought something like this would happen on their way to the World Tree. It turned out everything she told him was true, which was all the more reason they should join forces. He raised his hands toward Ignis, reminding her not to forget to hand over the item to him. To Ignis, he was still the evil being who killed her brother. It was all so complicated. He wondered what would come of this world. Ignis asked him what she was planning to do. Olivia told her that if she didn't have anywhere to go, she could join them. Ignis moved her hand toward Olivia, telling her to wait and that they should hear what she had to say. The little rabbit monster told them that she thought she was too weak to make a change. But seeing them made her believe they could make a change together. So, yes, she wanted to go on an adventure with her. Ignis stepped toward the little rabbit monster, telling her that she could even die in that, confirming if she was okay with it. And the little rabbit monster remembered the question she had already heard before. She wondered how she answered back then. She had said she would rather follow him than get killed there. But no, it wasn't about getting killed. She would survive and make a change. However, their story hadn't been done quite yet. She asked the little rabbit monster if she would stay a little longer and listen to the tales of their adventure. Logging out from account Tinia. She put her headphones aside. She was tired after playing the game. She stood up from her bed and saw that everything went up in smoke again, just like always. She grabbed the cup from the side table and questioned how that happened. She didn't understand why that thing happened. She threw the cup toward the wall and wondered if it must always be this way. She broke the cup in anger, knowing she had tried her best. After leaving the orphanage, she lived every day to the fullest. She really tried her best. She had to leave the orphanage when she turned 19. It wasn't like she had a specific goal after she left. It was instinct that drove her always to do her best to survive. Maybe that was the reason she matured much earlier than others. She believed that a day would come when her life got its own meaning and value if she could hold out long enough, at least until she met a girl. The girl told her that she had run away from home. So, she asked her if she could crash at her place for a few days. She told Tinia that her dad beat her every day, so she requested her to please help her out. She had worked with her for several months, and at that point, maybe she thought she had something in common with her. But above all, having someone who needed her help gave a specific meaning to her own life. She agreed to the girl's request and allowed her to live in her house for a few days. She took her to her home, and one day she went to her house and entered the code. Long story short, she came to know that the girl's cry for help was a total lie. One of the girl's friends, who was a fellow of the girl who asked Tinia for help, asked the girl what Tinia was doing there. That girl told her friend that Tinia was the one who was the host and the lady of the house. A boy went near Tinia, who seemed to be afraid, and said hello. The friend of that girl said to her that he felt nice to meet her. Tinia did not want that, which was not what she wanted at all. Their actions got more and more aggressive, and their demands grew more and more shameless. Of course, she asked for help, and the police went to the house. The girl who asked Tinia for help told the police officers about a misunderstanding. The police officers, after hearing her, trusted what she said. He told them to go ahead and talk it out like good friends should. Tinia went to her house, where the girl who asked for help, with her fellows, asked Tinia what kind of friend she was. The girl slammed Tinia and grabbed her collar. She told her that they should live in peace. A very long time had passed since then, to the point where her heart was on the verge of breaking down before she even found meaning in life. She went to a barren place. She heard someone who asked her from behind the tree if she was trying to kill herself. Tinia didn't know the answer to the question she was being asked. The girl stepped out. She saw it was Kia, who noted that she wasn't saying no, which meant she was considering it. She decided to help her. She offered to play a game with her in return for her help. Tinia didn't know anything about the game. The scene shifted to Selvarat, who was Selvarat in the game world. She entered Tinia's house, where the girl and her friends lay freely. One of the friends of that girl who asked for help scratched his hair and wondered where the host girl had been. Selvarat entered the house and locked the door. She started stepping toward them. She informed those guys that it was time for their punishment. The boy asked her if this was a joke or something, and he tried to punch Selvarat. Selvarat dodged his attack. She fought with every one of them until she won. After Selvarat and Kia helped her out, the bullying stopped. And then she started playing the game. She would do anything for Miss Cynthia. She thought it was fine because she could start over on the project whenever she wanted. But she was starting to get tired. Suddenly, the bell rang, and she went to open the door. She questioned who it was at the door. As soon as she opened the door, she saw Kia and Selvarat. She was confused, having no idea what they were doing. Kia told Tinia that she checked the skill logs and discovered what she was up to. She thought she made it clear that the project was over. Selvarat told Tinia to listen to her, saying she was getting way ahead of herself. Tinia yelled at them, saying she didn't understand. They tried so hard to become the light, the justice of the world. She gritted her teeth and wondered how they could give up on something like that so easily. Kia asked Tinia if she had ever looked into their eyes when she fought them. When they were putting all their power into that final blow they exchanged. She got to look her dead in the eyes. It all made sense to her at that moment. She hugged Tinia and told her to come on so that they could start trying their best once again. She told her that they should regret it as much as they had to, then move on and become stronger. Tinia became emotional and started tearing up but agreed to what Kia asked her to do. They were all born into this world with their shortcomings. But only when they faced them properly could they truly become the strongest. Following the coordinates they received, they finally arrived at this place. Mandemic found it strange. This was where the coordinates led. The little rabbit monster asked them if they were sure they could trust this human. Anyway, Mandemic asked the little rabbit monster if she thought it was time for her to tell them her name. the little rabbit monster told them she had no name. But Nandemic knew they would need a name to call her. In that case, the little rabbit monster told them to call her Rabby. Olivia quietly listened. Suddenly, they heard a thundering noise. Someone slammed on the ground. They saw the exact cross guy who had appeared there. He thanked everyone for coming. Olivia asked Ignis if he was an enemy. Ignis informed them that he was the one who gave her the coordinates, so she didn't think he was an enemy, but she wasn't sure if he was on their side either. The guy with the cross told Ignis that he didn't have much time, so he told her to listen carefully. He informed Ignis that she would come to destroy everything, starting from the world tree. He had to protect these things, and Ignis questioned him why she should listen to him. The guy with the cross found her answer fair enough. He told her she must let him motivate her. He told her that one of her brother's items was there. Ignis was surprised to hear that her brother's item was with the one the cross guy was mentioning. He told Ignis to listen carefully. He told her that she would never defeat them on their own. She had to ask for the World Tree's help as soon as she got there. Olivia looked at her screen. She saw that there was a dungeon inside the World Tree, and at the end of the dungeon was the mother of the World Tree. He told Ignis and Nandemic that their goal was to protect the World Tree from the outside. The guy with the cross told Olivia and the rabbit monster that they would be dungeon members. He instructed Ignis to wake the mother from her sleep and protect the World Tree together to win. He told them that if they lost, they would have to give up this world and her brother. Ignis asked the guy with the cross about the difficulty level, questioning if 2 were enough to clear it. The guy with the cross told Ignis that it wasn't even close. After listening to him, the little rabbit monster questioned if he was kidding her. She asked them what they were supposed to do, and Olivia asked if there was any other way to do it. The guy with the cross told Olivia that she could share her powers with them because she could do it as a fellow monster. Olivia wondered if he could be talking about that skill. The guy with the cross looked at Olivia's face. He saw that she seemed to have gotten the point, so he told her to use that skill before she entered. Ignis told Olivia that it was totally okay, and Olivia activated her skill. Olivia tapped on the backs of Ignis and the little rabbit monster, enabling the skill slime touch. She realized that an unbelievable amount of energy was flowing through her. She wondered if this was what she was thinking. Within an instant, a screen appeared in front of Olivia, which mentioned the awakening of the hidden archer of the garden. Her body was overflowing with powers. On the contrary, a screen appeared in front of the little rabbit monster, which talked about the awakening of the tenacious rabbit knight. The little rabbit monster started wondering where this power was coming from. Olivia told them that the skill would last for about 1 hour, but not much longer than that. The guy with the cross decided to open the hidden portal for them. He put his hand on the ground. A window screen that stated about the hidden field was called the Land of the World Tree. He wished Ignis good luck. Somehow, Ignis didn't think that he was lying. Although she didn't understand why he was doing this, he felt a sense of nostalgia for some reason. When she returned, she asked the guy with the cross why he was doing this. She knew that her brother's item was right down there, and she was ready to go inside. She was coming for her brother Taffy's item, wherever it was. A notification appeared, mentioning about them moving to the Land of the World Tree. Nandemic thought that this was it. As soon as he saw the World Tree, Ignis and her team safely arrived at the World Tree. The little rabbit monster and Olivia entered to clear the dungeon. The time limit was 1 hour. The guy with the cross saw the monster coming toward him. The monster's name was Calendar, who told him she hadn't seen him in a long time. The name of the guy with the cross was Angelus. Calendar took out her twins, believing she could take care of them herself. The twins jumped on the ground with a booming sound, following Calendar's command. Angelus knew that Calendar would get in his way. The ground was rumbling with dust in the air. On the other hand, a window screen appeared, informing them about the field, which was the World Tree Maze, where they had reached. They saw some monsters in front of them, who told them that intruders were not allowed and clarified that they should go no further. the little rabbit monsters saw that those monsters were restraining them from going deeper. Olivia told her that it didn't matter what they were saying. The monster roared and rushed toward them to attack them. He opened his fist. They saw sharp nails on his hand, which he wanted to scratch with. He attacked the little rabbit monster, who covered herself by blocking his nails with her carrot. Olivia shot at the monster, who fell down after getting hit. Only 55 minutes remained to clear the World Tree maze. The fight raged on between Olivia and Rabbi against the various monsters acting as hurdles. At that moment, outside the World Tree, Ignis and Nandemic felt a familiar, hair-raising sensation. The source of the feeling finally revealed itself. Calendar appeared before Ignis, greeting her after a long time. Ignis remembered the unknown lady's warning to be careful. A screen popped up, identifying Calendar as a boss-rank monster. Calendar stepped towards Ignis, asking how she had been. Ignis was surprised to hear her name, asking if Calendar knew her. Calendar replied that she knew Ignis was the daughter of Florith, a follower of the Guardian's duty, and Taphis' sister. Ignis declared that she would never listen to anything else Calendar said until she defeated her and took the item from her. Nandemic agreed with Ignis, desiring the same. Calendar stated she wouldn't go easy on Ignis just because she was Florith's child, suggesting that today might be the day they saw the end of this world. She decided to see what Ignis had. And in an instant, she passed them both. They couldn't even notice she had moved. Both were shocked to find her behind them, having no clue when she had crossed. She activated her unique field, Black, and Ignis observed Calendar carefully. She realized Calendar was faster than anyone she had ever fought. Calendar was about to hit Ignis, but Nandemic blocked the attack. As he came forward in front of Ignis, he noted that this monster had some spunk. Nandemic told Ignis that Calendar had to be far more potent than an item to cause permanent damage like this, implying that if she could destroy a legendary item with a single blow, she was undoubtedly very powerful. Calendar taunted Ignis, asking what had happened to her, questioning if she really needed this human to protect her from such a simple attack. She told Ignis she had become much weaker than before, questioning what happened to her ego. Ignis knew she only had one ego, rage, but judging by Calendar's words, she seemed to possess more than one. Calendar asked Ignis if she wanted to see her ego. Then activated her entire ego, enabling her rage slash and holy explosion skills. A sudden explosion occurred, and they both dodged the attack. A flashing light surrounded the area. They both attacked Calendar collectively. After an intense beam of light, they saw Calendar, still safe and sound. Calendar asked both of them if they thought they could defeat her with such a weak blow. Nandemic asked Ignis if she was okay. Ignis, taking deep breaths, told Nandemic she was fine. Ignis' powers flowed around her, and she rose in full rage, overflowing with power. Ignis realized that Calendar's powers were incredible, even when she was holding back. Until they woke the mother of the World Tree, they needed to keep fighting another monster with an entire ego. She told Nandemic they should do it now. The battle with Calendar commenced. Calendar leaped at Ignis and Nandemic, swinging her weapon. Nandemic rushed toward Calendar. The dragon struck a rage slash, and the holy expansion was enabled. Nandemic knew it wouldn't do much harm anyway. He bounced toward Calendar, who immediately hit Nandemic. Nandemic's body shone due to the flash he had enabled. He activated hard counter. And Ignis activated her skill, Dragon Strike, holding her sword. She unleashed a rage slash. Calendar saw her using skill and immediately activated her Orb of Despair. The whole area rumbled, and Ignis had a tight grip on her sword. She used her Dragon Strike burst, and their skills collided. She saw a mountain of energy before her. Nandemic asked Ignis if she was ready. Ignis agreed. And Nandemic began activating his powers while Ignis gathered her strength. A magic circle appeared, and their combined skill, Holy Fire of Eternity, activated. Nandemic hoped this would do the trick. But suddenly, he saw Calendar's hand emerge from the fire. She questioned them after coming out if this was all they had, finding it ridiculous. Ignis saw that Calendar was absorbing their skills at once. Calendar was still safe, even after being hit by that big blow. She activated her skill, Final Despair, which Ignis and Nandemic found challenging to withstand. Ignis clenched her teeth. Nandemic thought this skill was a finisher. A big explosion occurred with a booming sound. Nandemic immediately activated his 4 shields. He saved himself and Ignis from the hit. He thanked God he wasn't too late. The area within the 4 shields had a unique effect. All team members in this area were given 0.5 seconds of invincibility at fixed intervals. He didn't expect to use the skill so early. He had never met a boss monster like this one. This was the difference egos could make. Ego monsters could obtain many different kinds of egos, and whether they had one or not made all the difference. After fighting in many a boss raid as part of the Zero Guild, Nandemic started to ask himself this question: why was this all so easy? Now, after meeting Calendar, his question had finally been answered. Until now, humans had never fought real monsters. Calendar was the living proof of that. This could only mean that this was what the game developers intended in the first place. Nandemic knew that this must be the real side of the hidden ego. He activated his skill, the most potent weapon of Athena, the goddess of war and wisdom. He activated God's 5th shield, named Aegis. This was where this game actually began. So, he realized that this must be the real side of this game's hidden ego. He thought that they had really not been playing the game until now. The only problem, he believed, was that his opponent was a monster with an ego. Nandemic decided to face this, and he leaped towards Calendar. Calendar's eyes shone brightly. And Nandemic knew that the first skill his shield Aegis held was Stiffen. Calendar rushed to hit Nandemic. But before she could do anything, Ignis hit her with her Dragon Strike, also known as a Rage Slash. She saw that the stiffened state was broken when the target was attacked, and they might choose to strike back. At this point, Calendar activated her skill, Black Gimlet. Well, Aegis' second skill was an increased period of invincibility. Calendar realized that he was quite a handful of a human. She leaped towards him at full speed. And Nandemic activated his stiffening once again. Ignis came before Nandemic when Calendar instantly enabled her Despair Bomb skill. After the activation of the Despair Bomb, a booming sound occurred. He again saw the invincibility. They attacked as the opponent was stiffened and nullified their counterattacks with invincibility. Nandemic saw that Calendar was still unaffected after all those attacks, which was tough. Calendar told them that it was about time. Nandemic knew the first effect of her unique black field was corrosion. He saw that his invincibility shield was being corroded. The shield was creeping. A notification popped up. And Ignis saw it on the screen, which informed her that the skill Paladin's Guardian had been removed. Calendar looked at their faces, feeling their only hope had been taken away from them. Ignis realized they spent so much of their mana, but their skills didn't seem to have taken effect. Ignis couldn't think of a way to beat Calendar, but fighting her reminded her of something. Well, she knew that this feeling of meeting an insurmountable obstacle. They saw that strange figure in Tinius' lab, and how she talked made it seem like she already knew who she was. Perhaps she had met her before, but she didn't remember it. But she thought that she did not remember who she was. She had to save her brother at any cost. She raised her sword. Ignis instantaneously stepped towards Calendar when suddenly Nandemic called Ignis. He reminded her what he said to her before, that he would give her the item if she kept a promise. But he told Ignis that he had changed his mind now. He immediately gave the item to her, holding Taphis' item in his hand. It was the item Resonance. Ego monsters could connect with specific items and get bonuses from them. Although it had only been a short time since he came to trust her, he decided to give it to her if she could become stronger by having this. Ignis heard Nandemic. She looked at him with a surprised expression on her face, and she nodded her head. Ignis knew that this was the third item she had gotten from her brother. She moved her hand forward to pick up Taffy's item from Mandemic's hand. But before her hand could reach and touch the item was suddenly gone. Igni saw that her brother Taffy's item was gone. She saw Glow, who happened to appear there, and snatched Taffy's item from them. He questioned them if they didn't even see that coming, finding it so pathetic. Mandemic looked at Glow and asked him what he was doing here. Glow smirked, seeing Mandemic after so long. His first goal was collecting karma. Thanks to his class, every lousy deed he did permanently increased his parameters. And how better to earn karma than burning down the world tree? In order to do that, he tracked down that item and came here. His second goal was to take revenge on the one who killed him. He saw that the world tree and his killer were all in one place, which was a very fruitful day for him. He questioned himself what he was doing here. He was planning to kill every one of them.